Vice Chairman Barr, I understand that last week you spoke to graduates of American University. And I'd like to call up part of your remarks for the group today. Quote, when things go wrong, it's your responsibility. It's not somebody on your team's fault. Having the ability to not point a finger at other people and to point it at yourself and understand that you are accountable and responsible is an important part of being a leader. Does that advice extend beyond college graduates to leaders of federal agencies?
Yes, Senator.
I agree. And when a leader's team or agency is fundamentally broken, serious decisions have to be taken. Decisions that will provide a stark test of what leadership really is. So Chairman Grunberg, I'd like to turn to you to talk about accountability and leadership. During the independent investigation of your agency, roughly 1 in 10 FDIC employees reported, quote, experiences of sexual harassment, discrimination, and other interpersonal misconduct. Just the sheer volume of complaints demonstrates serious managerial issues. A workplace culture like this doesn't evolve overnight. This is shaped by years of senior management. The report even says, and I quote, culture starts at the top. Well, you've been at the FDIC for nearly 20 years. 10 of the past 13 years, you've led the agency. So my question is this. If the FDIC's culture is the problem, and you've established this culture for nearly 2 decades, how could you possibly be the most capable person to fix this rot?
Senator, I have indicated that I take full responsibility. I've also indicated that one of my failures was not recognizing the deep-seated cultural challenge the agency has previously. Since last December...
Previously, you've been there for 20 years. I don't know how you could not recognize it.
Since last December, when these reports came forward, we have devoted all the resources of the agency in an agency-wide effort to address them. I've indicated, and the third-party report that was released last week was a result of my direction to have an independent third-party review, look at the agency in whole, both Washington and the regions, to try to develop an in-depth understanding of the nature of the challenges the agency has.
Well, let's get beyond the reports and the understanding. Just yesterday, very concerned about this, a report emerged that contains a statement from FDIC employees that very clearly says, and these are employees across the political spectrum, they don't believe current leadership can affect the necessary changes. They even left it unsigned because they're afraid of reprisal. That's precisely one of the issues, one of the deep cultural issues that we're trying to address here. Leadership is necessary to do it. They don't believe you can provide it. You know, this is just extraordinarily hard for, I think, all of us to understand. I want to ask you a different question. If you were to resign your role, who would take your place?
I think under the statute, the vice chairman would become acting chairman.
Is the vice chairman a Republican?
I believe so, Senator.
So I think now we're getting to the very core of what's happening here. This is what's going on. Just yesterday, in a House hearing, Representative Presley from Massachusetts said the quiet part out loud. She said that if you were to resign, it would, quote, jeopardize critical regulations pending finalization at this agency. Just let that sink in. The need for immediate leadership change here is so obvious. The independent report here is beyond disturbing. It describes abuse, discrimination based on race and sex, uncontrolled anger and retaliation. It even reports instances of sexual harassment and rape that occurred at the so-called FDIC hotel across the river in Virginia. It's truly remarkable that anybody on this committee would be willing to ignore this report and what it so obviously requires, all for a few regulations in the Federal Reserve. Does the Me Too movement now have an exception for technical regulations? Chairman Grunberg, is saving your job more important than protecting the staff and the integrity of the agency that you lead?
Senator, I have no higher priority than addressing these issues and protecting the employees of the FDIC.
They don't believe you can do it.
We've been working
I don't believe you can do it.
I believe we can. We have been working on it, and it has been an agency-wide effort.
This is the most damning report I've ever seen. And I can't believe there's a willingness of anybody on this committee to brush this under the table just to get a regulatory agenda passed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.